We were told the regime would crumble. We were told that by taking out the head of the snake on February 28th, the body would wither and die. But as the sun rose over Tehran this morning, Monday, March 9th, 2026, the world realized we didn't kill the snake. We just watched it grow a younger, more calculated head. The Assembly of Experts has spoken. In a move that has sent shockwaves from the Pentagon to your local gas station, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei has been named the third supreme leader of the Islamic Republic. For 20 years, he was the shadow man, the gatekeeper to his father's power. Today, he is the commander-in-chief. And his first act? It wasn't a speech about peace. It was the signaling of a regime that is doubling down. As you were sleeping, the line of succession was finalized in a secret meeting of the 88 clerics. While US and Israeli bombs were still falling, the vote was cast. Mojtaba didn't just inherit a title, he inherited a war. And unlike his father, who fought with 20th century rhetoric, Mojtaba is a creature of the IRGC. He knows exactly where the West's jugular vein is. Your bank account. This is the Monday Morning Massacre. It's the day the surgical strike became a global economic amputation. The transition was seamless. The military pledged their blood, and the price of oil, the lifeblood of our civilization, did something it has never done in history. Brent crude didn't just rise, it exploded to nearly $120 a barrel before the opening bell even rang in New York. The epic fury is no longer just happening in the sky. It's happening at the pump, in the grocery store, and in the very fabric of the American dream. We were promised a quick victory. What we got was a new leader, a new price tag, and a new reality that none of us are prepared for. If you think the mood in Tehran is tense, you should see the West Wing. I've spent the last few hours talking to sources close to the administration, and furious doesn't begin to describe the president's reaction. When the ticker hit that $114 and then $120 mark, the air in the Oval Office reportedly turned blue. President Trump didn't just react, he exploded. To him, the naming of Mojtaba is a personal insult. Just yesterday, he told reporters that any successor would be unacceptable and dismissed Mojtaba as a lightweight. He even suggested that he should have a personal role in choosing who leads Iran next. But the clerics in Com just handed him a massive no. They chose the one man Trump warned them not to pick. Trump took to social truth at 3 a.m., screaming in all caps that this is a short-term blip and that only fools think the price won't drop rapidly once the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is complete. He's calling the skyrocketing gas prices a very small price to pay for US and world safety. But tell that to the family in Ohio who just saw gas hit $3.50 a gallon and climbing. Behind the scenes, the panic is real. Energy Secretary Chris Wright is trying to downplay the surge, but the markets aren't listening. The president is betting his entire political legacy on the idea that he can annihilate the Iranian navy and missile industry before the American economy snaps. He's playing the ultimate game of high-stakes poker, but he's using your grocery budget as the chips. The epic fury has moved from the battlefield to the boardroom, and as of this morning, the House of Cards is shaking. Trump is demanding unconditional surrender, but the new man in Tehran just upped the ante. Who is the man who just made your life significantly more expensive? Mojtaba Khamenei is not his father. While Ali Khamenei was a philosopher king who ruled for 37 years, Mojtaba is a master of the shadow state. Born in 1969, he is a child of the revolution who has never held an elected office. He didn't need one. He controlled the access to his father. He controlled the IRGC's vast business empire. The Mojtaba doctrine is built on one thing: survival through escalation. He lost his father on February 28th. Reports indicate his wife was killed in that same strike. This isn't just a political struggle for him, it is personal. He is filled with what analysts call an undying desire for revenge. He knows he can't win a traditional war against the US Navy, but he knows that if he chokes the Strait of Hormuz long enough, the pressure on Washington will become unbearable. He is a hardliner among hardliners, a man who the Revolutionary Guard trusts implicitly. By choosing Mojtaba, the Assembly of Experts has sent a message. We are not surrendering. They chose the one man who would never negotiate with Trump. They chose the man who is willing to watch his own country burn if it means taking the global economy down with it. The shadow man has stepped into the light, and he's holding a match over the world's oil supply. He isn't looking for a grand bargain, he's looking for a way to prove that America's epic fury has a price tag that the American people won't pay. To understand why your wallet is bleeding, you have to look at the 21 miles of water, known as the Strait of Hormuz. It is the world's most important oil choke point. Every single day, 20 million barrels of oil flow through that narrow passage. That's 20% of the world's supply, and as of this morning, that flow has been reduced to a trickle. Under the new leadership of Mojtaba, the IRGC has shifted from defensive posturing to active harassment. They've launched drone swarms, they've deployed sea mines, shipping traffic has largely halted, insurance rates for tankers have gone through the roof, and major companies are refusing to enter the Gulf. This is the shockwave. It's not just about the oil we lose today, it's about the fear of what we lose tomorrow. When Bahrain's state oil company declared a force majeure today because their refinery was set ablaze by an Iranian attack, the market lost its mind. We are seeing a cascading failure. If the tankers don't move, the refineries don't run. If the refineries don't run, the gas stations run dry. The US average for gas has already climbed to nearly $3.50, but in some states it's already pushing $5. This is a mechanical reality. You can't tweet your way out of a closed shipping lane. The Trump administration says we have the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, but we've tapped that well so many times in the last 3 years that the safety net is looking more like a spider web. The world is watching those 21 miles of water. If Mojtaba keeps them closed, $114 a barrel will look like a bargain by the end of the week. We are currently witnessing a massive fracture in the American identity. It's the wallet versus weapon debate. On one side, there is the undeniable social validation of the strikes. For years, we were told Iran was the imminent nuclear threat. When Trump launched Operation Epic Fury, millions cheered. They wanted the justice of seeing the regime decimated. They wanted to see the end of the proxy wars and the nuclear ambitions, but then Monday morning came. Now the patriotism is meeting the grocery bill. I'm seeing it all over social media. People who were posting USA flags last week are now posting photos of their bank balances. There is a growing sense of outrage that we started a war without an economic exit strategy. The administration's line is that this is a small price to pay. But for the millions of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, there is no such thing as a small price. To them, the weapon is being used against their own quality of life. The villain in this story is shifting in the eyes of the public. Is it Mojtaba, the man holding the oil hostage, or is it the planners in DC who didn't coordinate with our allies to secure the energy markets before the first bomb dropped? This debate is going to decide the next election. It's going to decide the future of US foreign policy. Can we afford to be the global policeman if we can't afford the gas to get to work? The epic fury is turning inward, and the conversation is getting ugly. The Trump administration isn't sitting still. They are launching an economic counterattack. Today, the Financial Times reported that the G7 finance ministers are in emergency talks to jointly release petroleum reserves. This is the nuclear option for the economy. They are trying to flood the market with oil to break the back of the $120 price spike. But here is the tension. The markets know we are running low. We've spent years using our reserves to keep inflation down. If we empty the tanks now, and the war doesn't end in 2 weeks, we are truly defenseless. Trump is also reportedly pressuring Saudi Arabia and the UAE to ignore the Iranian threats and ramp up production. But the Gulf states are terrified. They saw what happened to the Bahraini refinery today. They know that if they step in to save the US, they become the next targets for Mojtaba's missiles. This is a game of chicken played with millions of barrels of oil. Trump is betting that the Iranian regime will collapse under the weight of US bombs before the US economy collapses under the weight of high prices. But Mojtaba has a different bet. He's betting on time. He's betting that he can survive in a bunker longer than you can survive $6 gas. The counterattack is underway, but for the first time, the greatest economy in the history of the world looks vulnerable. We are out of easy options. This isn't just a US-Iran war. It's the birth of a new energy axis. As we speak, Russia is reportedly providing intelligence to help Iran target US assets. China, the biggest buyer of Iranian oil, has called for an immediate end to the fighting. They are seeing their own massive economy stall as energy prices surge. The ripple effect is hitting every corner of the globe. In Japan and South Korea, stock markets are sliding. In Europe, the fear of a total energy cutoff is bringing back memories of the 1973 oil crisis. The reveal here is that the world is no longer a unipolar place. When the US moves, the rest of the world moves against us if it hurts their bottom line. We are seeing a historic alignment. If Trump can't stabilize the oil market, our allies might start cutting their own deals with the new regime in Tehran just to keep the lights on. Mojtaba knows this. He is already reaching out to Beijing, offering security for their energy needs if they help bypass US sanctions. He is trying to isolate America by using our own epic fury against us. The Monday Morning Massacre has gone global. It's no longer about a few strikes on a nuclear facility. It's about who controls the energy that powers the planet. So where does this leave us? It leaves us at a crossroads. We are being tested, not just our military, but our spirit. They want us broken. Mojtaba wants you to give up on your values because the price of gas went up. He wants you to demand that your government bow down to a regime of terror just to save a few dollars at the pump. But they forgot who we are. This is the moment where we remember what Americanness really means. It's not about easy living. It's about resilience. It's about finding a way when the world says there is no way. We have the technology, the resources, and the people to overcome this. The hero of this story isn't a politician in a suit or a cleric in a robe. The hero is the American worker who keeps showing up, who keeps fighting for their family, and who refuses to be a fool in anyone's game. We need to demand better from our leaders, both in terms of security and economic planning. We need a path that leads to a world without nuclear threats, but also a world where a working family can afford to live. Dignity triumphs over arrogance. Resilience triumphs over revenge. The epic fury may be raining down in the Middle East, but the real power is right here, in our communities, in our resolve, and in our refusal to be intimidated by a $14 price tag. This is the most important story of 2026. This is the reality we are living in. We've seen the new leader, we've seen the price of war, and now we have to decide how we respond. Is this the start of a new Great Depression, or the moment America finally secures its energy future once and for all? If you want the truth that the mainstream media is too afraid to tell you, then you need to be part of this channel. We are tracking every missile, every oil trade, and every Truth Social post in real time. Hit that subscribe button right now. Do not miss the next update, because things are moving faster than anyone expected. Leave a comment below. What are you seeing at your local gas station today? Is the $114 oil spike making you rethink the war, or are you standing with the president's epic fury? Let's have a real conversation in the comments. I'm your name, and I will never stop fighting for the truth. Stay grounded, stay resilient, and I'll see you in the next one.